Good evening and welcome to Be More Super Live. Um, there is a bit of an issue with timings, Larry, isn't there? I've got to do a massive apology because what I didn't realise was the times have changed in the US.
Yeah, yeah. I got off of work. I was ready to talk to you. You're like, "What do you mean? It's only 7 for me." And I'm like, "No, it's time to go."
I know. I was looking at the. I do it every year. Like I was mentioning before we went live, I do it every year where like I forget about. It's just weird, isn't it? How why our time? So our time goes forwards on the 26th of March. So I just don't understand why other countries have different times. I think they should just get rid of it because obviously savings were brought about for farmers originally. If I'm right in saying it was for the horticultural sector, but no, we're here, we're live. It is 8 o'clock in the UK, and I'm guessing 4 o'clock in the US.
Yep,
Yeah,
4 o'clock. I'm missing my afternoon cartoons. Thank you.
but how's your week been, Larry?
I mean, same old, same old. Nothing really going on. Just wasting time and wasting money
Wasting
that I
time and
don't have.
waste. Same here, same here. But do you know what? It's been a great week for entertainment, and it's been a great week for the Oscars, which obviously you can see on the screen now at the giant Oscar there. We're going to talk about some of the winners and some of the losers because it's a strange event. It's literally, I just don't get it. I guess that it's a place where people go and get recognition, one of the highest recognitions that you can have. But I still just don't get the event. I don't think it's a measure of the work out there because there's so many films that haven't won Oscars that I think are just amazing. But before we go over the Oscars, um, we had the last episode of The Last of Us.
Dum dum dum.
Wait a second. Wait a second. There we go. I just wanted to press that. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's episode 9. I can't believe it's finished. I can't believe, that is it for quite a while. I mean, what are your thoughts on it? Because we had some familiar voices, maybe not
Yes.
faces to the Last of Us fan base, but definitely voices on our screen in episode 9.
So like I talked to you about this after I watched the episode the other day. Is you had the voice actress for Ellie
Mhm.
that played Ellie's mom in this, and she's probably most notable for playing the youngest daughter from Growing Pains. Like
Mhm.
I was like looking at her, I'm like, man, she also had a cameo in the first Avengers movie too. A lot of people don't even realize that she was like a waitress off in the background.
Of course, yes. Yeah.
And but
But
she's
she's
been she's
been
been in a lot of stuff over the years.
Yeah, I was going to say she's been a hell of a lot of stuff, and then obviously you also had Laura, that was the voice of someone from Part Two. She was in the hospital scene at the end. She was one of the nurses. Um, but what did you think of the last episode? Do you think it ended? I mean, it was 9 episodes. What a weird number to end on.
Yeah. So over episode itself, I probably one of my favorite episodes, and I really enjoyed it. As the series as a whole, if this is going to be it without a possibility of a number two, just like the original game, I was kind of underwhelmed with the show with the series as a whole. If I'm gonna be honest, like I mean, this is coming from somebody who played the game, but I mean, you played it, but you don't remember
Mm,
the story from it. The infected were more of a big deal.
mm.
They kept showing you the infected were there and they were a threat. But besides the one episode where they showed you the gigantic one,
Yeah,
and
the
then maybe
bloater.
in the first couple episodes, yeah, the bloater, and a couple others here and there, they were never a real. They never felt like a threat, and that's
Mm,
probably my biggest complaint to the series overall. Like Walking Dead, the humans were more of a threat. That was the point of The Walking Dead. But in The Last of Us, it was all about having to survive like the infected, and then becoming affected and how that. affected the people around you, and like they, I don't know if you remember, we were talking about how much the bloater costume cost, and I'm like, I don't feel like they got their money's worth out of it. I would have had a bloater in the last episode or last couple episodes, and you know what I mean? Like the money wasn't put on screen, you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, half a million for that suit for how many seconds it was seen on screen was crazy. I mean, who knows? We might see it in part two because they've already said that the Last of Us Part Two isn't going to be just one season; it's going to be over 2 seasons. So
Mhm.
straight away, they've got a plan for two more seasons. I know what you're saying though about how it's left us slightly disappointed, but again, it's one of those shows that I think that once part two's out and someone I don't know binge watches it all, it's going to be spectacular. But
See,
you know,
I've already heard they're going to be kind of delving away from the story from the second one. I don't know how true that is, but I mean, the second game isn't as well received as the first game. I don't know if you know that. Like a lot of people, I never played it, so I can't really talk on it. But
yeah.
it has a lot of very very mixed reviews. Like
Mm.
it really like a lot of people are like I was kind of let down. Like people weren't as enthusiastic about the second one as they were the first one. I mean, the first one's been remade like 4 or 5 times at this point.
I mean, I've seen on the internet as well. There was a fan made film of the Last of Us. So if you go on YouTube and put in the Last of Us fan made, it's actually pretty decent. The clickers in it are just, I would say they're on par with how the clickers look um, from The Last of Us, which says a lot, really does. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to obviously part two. But there were rumors as well about Bella Ramsey, if she wanted to do it, apparently, which I don't believe because I know for a start that when these big companies they bring out a show like this, they normally sign the main stars for at least 2 or 3 projects. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I seen something. Yeah, I seen something about it. And the showrunner, what I read is the showrunner said they have no intention on recasting her. So who knows, But she's good. She's a starlet on the rise.
Mm.
You can't deny it. Ever since she stepped on screen in Game of Thrones, it's like just her presence has made an impact. She's gonna. I think she's gonna be a big star at one point if she's not already. I mean, she's on that rise. As long as she
But
stays away from Hollywood and the crazies.
yeah, the crazies. But the biggest question, Larry, is that I know that you weren't that fussed with her in episode 1 and 2, and now we've got to see, episode 9 and the end of the season. Have you warmed to Bella Ramsey as Ellie?
You know what? I really did. Like she every time she was on screen, I wanted to look up even more than Pedro, because she did have a certain charm to her. I mean that's going back to what I'm saying. Like she's a star on the rise. She's somebody that you're gonna
Mm.
have to watch out for in the next 5, 10 years. Like I'm excited to see what this actress is going to do. Like think about the actress played Eleven on Stranger Things.
Mm.
I blank on everything right now, but like she's kind of let me down with the stuff she's done. What I mean, she
Yeah.
was in a OK Godzilla movie. She did Enola Holmes, on Netflix. But people have expected a lot more from her, and it's just been kind of like
I think
it
Billy
hasn't lived
Bobby,
up to Strangers. Millie
yeah,
Bobby Brown, yeah,
Millie Bobby Brown. I think her hype is bigger than her performance. I think that off
yes,
the back of Stranger Things, I think that propelled her into the limelight, and I think that a lot of the things that she was in was being promoted off the back of Stranger Things and her being 11. Do I think that she's this amazing actress? No, I don't. Again, there are so many actors and actresses out there that are so much better. Um, but I suppose it's only as good as the material that you've got. Do you know what I mean? It's like being a chef, and it's only
yeah.
as good as the ingredients. So you can have Gordon Ramsay and give him well, actually saying that, he probably could actually make a really good meal out of nothing. Um, but yeah, so I can't wait for part two. Apparently, they're going to be filming it at the end of this year. I think it's November time. They said that they were going to start filming. Um, but don't it get you down that the fact that they're going to be filming it around November, so it's probably not going to come out till the end of 2024, maybe spring of 2025.
I mean, that's for shows like this. You're usually figuring a year to 2 years in between.
And
I
we're
mean, so it's
getting
nothing new.
and we're getting older, Larry. Literally, it's like Superman Legacy with James Gunn, 2025. That's
I
coming
know.
out, and I'm just thinking
I'm
it's
gonna be in my
2020.
forties.
That's 2 years. I mean, maybe we might be able to get discount by that time for OAP tickets at the cinema. Um, but they need to make a move on. They really do. And then again, before we go on to the Oscars, I wanted to go over cocaine bear, because cocaine bear was something that you told me about. I've got the poster here. I've got to find it because here we go. So apparently, based on a true story, very loosely based on a true story. Um, this film is probably one of the funniest films I have seen in years, absolutely years. I think Elizabeth Banks, who wrote it and directed it, did a marvelous job. And people need to go out and watch it. They need to go out and check it out. The poster doesn't do it justice. The bear in the show, in the film, sorry, is just stunning. Obviously, it's CGI because you can't get a bear to do all the stuff the bear's doing through training. But they do a really good job. You believe it's a real bear. It looks like a real bear. Um, you know, Even though it's probably CGI, it looks like a real bear. Um,
I know there was a funny thing I watched. There was a YouTuber who got a care package from the studio,
mm.
and the care package came in a duffel bag. It's a cocaine bear, and you opened it up, and it had a brick that looked like a brick of cocaine, and you opened it up and had like T-shirts and stuff in it, and then they had coasters that had lines of cocaine on them.
What? Imagine that getting stopped by customs or by the post, and seeing that block there, and then opening it up, thinking they've got a big stash and it's t-shirts. It's really good. They do some really good packages, along with the films. They really, really do. But anyone out there, if anyone's seen the movie, please comment below, and then we could bring it on screen. But it's a great movie. If you get a chance to watch it, definitely. And I'm really disappointed that looking at the films that had been nominated, and people that have won Oscars, these are the films. Cocaine Bear, for me, has got the lasting effect. It really has. But let's talk about the Oscars, because the Oscars was at the weekend. Did you watch it? Because I didn't, because with the time difference. I mean, is it a big thing for viewers out in the States? Do they make a big thing of it on the TV?
They on TV they make a big deal of it, but to be honest, unless like most people nowadays, at least that I know, we don't watch regular TV. Everything we watch is like Netflix and stuff like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like my wife put it on, but it's background noise for her.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to go to bed. I I used to be kind of excited for Oscar season just to see who was going to win. And this is when I was watching like movies like Birdman with Michael Keaton,
Mm,
and stuff like that. Great movie, and I want to see what movie won, but over the last, I say 5, 6 years, if not longer, like these movies have become there's a package, and they have to click these boxes to be best picture winner. Like last year, what was it? No Man's Land, that
mm,
won for best movie, and like I put that movie on, and that was the most boring, dreadful thing I've ever tried to watch in my life. And then they gave her a Marvel movie of Eternals, the director, and people were saying that was one of the most boring, dreadful things they've ever tried to watch.
mm,
You know what I mean? I'm like sometimes what's technically, in my opinion, what's technically supposed to be good or perfect or award winning isn't necessarily the best.
mm,
Like for me, I'd rather go into a comic book shop and look at covers than go to a local museum. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
I've once every 6 months, me and my wife will go up to our local museum and walk around, see what's new there. We've done that like recently, just a couple months ago, and I enjoy stuff like that. But my point is that like different things, like what's technically good and pleasing to the eye, what's it's different for all people. So putting an award on what a group of people that are detached from the rest of the world, you know, I mean, can you name the last five winners of the Best Picture? And I followed.
Yeah.
I remember like I think one was Moonlight. I
Mm.
mean, who's rewatched Crash with Brendan Fraser? I think that won Best Picture. Slumdog Millionaire. Like, who's
Yeah.
really putting these movies on over and over again? Like a Best Picture should be what's the most enjoyable, what's touched people, what
Mm.
people love, and these are never the ones that win until I will say I've seen Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's probably my favorite movie of the year. I don't know if you've
Really?
watched it yet, but
I
it's
have. Right. So, you know me, Larry, I see the good in everything. I enjoy everything. But literally, I switched this movie off halfway through.
really.
I didn't enjoy it. I
It was
literally,
the bagel, wasn't it?
if I was going to score Cocaine Bear at a number 9 out of 10, this film, I would say, is probably a 4 or 5. Literally, don't get me wrong,
Really.
right? The martial arts in it is amazing. I think the stunt work in it is just astonishing. Um, I just think for a film of its type, I think it started off too fast. It started off too confusing. You had to really work your brain to get your head around what it was all about. And then once you clicked onto it, it was I don't know. I didn't enjoy it at all, and I was really shocked. And I turned around to the wife and said, "Yeah, I'm not enjoying this." And we stopped it halfway through. So I'm really surprised that this has won so many Oscars. I mean, for Best Actress, Best
So,
Supporting
so you're
Actor.
telling me you didn't see Rakakuni?
To be honest,
You don't know.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't watch. I mean, is it worth watching the other half?
So let me back up a little bit. It's probably one of my favorite movies of the year in a year of where movies haven't been astounding.
Mm,
Okay, I love Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'd give it a solid 8. People are acting like it's a 10. I'd give it a solid 8 for making it all the way through. My biggest issue is that it goes on this ride and it hits a wall about a little over halfway into it. It felt like it should have probably cut out 20 minutes of it. And
mm,
that's my honest opinion of it. There is a part where I was like, this is dragging really bad. And there's all this stuff going on, but it was dragging. Um, it's probably one of the most unique, creative movies I've watched in a long time, and that's why I
mm.
love it. When I say Rakakuni, is they do a play on Ratatouille, where in one of the worlds that she's a hibachi chef, one of her other chefs there has a raccoon under his hat, and, and the raccoon is making him cook all the food. There's
Ah,
hilarious little things like that. There's a lot
so
of lot of
yes,
jokes in it.
so I've got the list here. So obviously, it won Best Picture. So the other standout films was the Fablemans and Elvis and one of my favorite Top Gun. Um, I mean, out of the list, oh, and Avatar, The Way of Water, and you've watched that. So out of
Yes,
all those, do you think this is well deserved? For
I mean I've seen Avatar. I haven't seen the other films, but I mean I'm gonna go to what I said before. Like, this is the one that people really gravitated to.
mm,
Not like I know a lot. I know Maverick made a lot of money, Top Gun, but I don't hear people talking about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I hear people say, "Oh yeah, I really enjoyed that film," and that was it.
yeah, yeah,
Everything, everywhere, all that once touched people in such a way, it became a conversation. I I seen it in the theater. I took my
mm,
two boys to go see it. My one son knew about it. My other one had no idea. He looked at me halfway through that movie. He's like, "Dad, what do you have me watching?" I'm like, "Do
mm.
you like it?" He's like, "I think." I don't know. I'm confused. And he hates everything. Like, so I mean, like, and I've seen articles and I've seen people comment about it. Like some people like you don't like it at all. Some people are like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." I'm a little above the middle in my opinion on it. You
Mm.
know, like I don't want to rush to go watch it again, but
I
I
think I
mean,
think I think I was probably in the maybe wrong frame of mind when I watched it. I don't know. It wasn't late at night. It was late-ish, and I was watching it. I thought, no, I need to give it a watch because it's won all these Oscars, and I think that I watched it with the thought, wait a second, it's won all these Oscars. It must be spectacular, and I think that I watched it in the thought of it was going to be better than it was. So maybe I need to give it another go. Um, but then talking about the Oscars, we all remember last year with Will Smith
mhm.
and the incident there. There's a awesome meme that was on saying a number of Oscar telecasts without incident won. So I don't know if that's a real
Bringing
sign.
that up, have you seen the clip of Chris Rock's special where he
No,
goes in for the last 10 minutes all about the incident? I
no.
mean, I mean, I would really suggest everybody like just look, just you could probably find it just on Facebook of just his last 10 minutes of his most recent special on
Mm.
Netflix. I mean, he goes in hard about the incident, his opinions on what happened, like and what actually happened. He talks about that. He made a joke. He's like people asked me if it hurt. He's like, yeah, it hurt. I'm still hearing "Summertime" ringing in my ear.
Well, of course, he's had his special, but Jimmy Kimmel, was presenting, and in true fashion, it wasn't going to be left unaddressed. But here's a clip of Jimmy opening the Oscars and, you know, poking fun at the Will Smith incident last year.
Want you to feel safe, and most importantly, we want me to feel safe. So we have strict policies in place. If anyone in this theater commits an act of violence at any point during the show, you will be awarded the Oscar for Best Actor and permitted to give a 19-minute long speech. No, but seriously, the Academy has a crisis team in place. If anything unpredictable or violent happens during the ceremony, just do what you did last year. Nothing. Sit there and do absolutely nothing. Maybe even give the assailant a hug. And if any of you get mad at a joke and decide you want to come up here and get jiggy with it, it's not going to be easy. There are a few of my friends you're going to have to get through first. You're going to have to get through the heavyweight champ, Adonis Creed, before you get to me. You're going to have to do battle with Michelle Yeoh before you get to me. You are going to have to beat the Mandalorian before you get to me. You are going to have to tangle with Spider-Man. You are going to have to tangle with Fableman. And then you're going to have to go through my right-hand man, Guillermo, if you want to get up to this stage. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, I should say the other Guillermo, not Del Toro. Yes, that one. Okay, there you go. I know he's cute, but make no mistake, you even so much as wave at me, that sweet little man will beat the Lydia Tar out of you, okay?
Yeah, so that was the opening of the Oscars. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
No, I haven't.
But it's pretty funny. Thing is, though, I feel sorry for Will Smith because obviously this is all happened, and yeah, he caused it. He went there and he went for the slap. But in all fairness, it's been done. He's done a film, for Apple, which did all right. And obviously, he's just announced the new Bad Boys film has been greenlit, and they're doing it now. Bad Boys 4, not For Life, because that was the third one, so it's a bit confusing. But yeah, I feel really, really sorry for him. But, that's what the Oscars are there for, to poke fun at people. I mean, thank goodness Ricky Gervais wasn't presenting, because I love his presenting. I think he's done some of the best speeches out there and intros and monologues that awards ceremonies that we'll ever see for many years to come.
I mean, what did he call the whole audience one year pedophiles after
Yes, he
the
did.
during the Epstein stuff? I
Yeah,
mean, a lot of your
yeah,
favorite people were on that docket going to the island.
yeah. And they're all upset because they've had to make their own way here and not on a private jet. Um, but no, so we're going on to the red carpet because I know you haven't seen this. So Hugh Grant, big actor, I think that he's been treated so unfairly on social media, and I'm going to put it out there, is that I think he's an amazing actor. I don't know if you've seen Operation Fortune yet, which is Guy Ritchie's
No,
latest movie. Um, with Hugh Grant, it's got an amazing cast in it, and Hugh Grant is a proper British guy. You know, he's not all for all the fancy events and everything. I don't know why he went, but this interview, I'll let you watch it, and the viewers and listeners listen and view this interview, and we'll talk about it afterwards because it is quite funny. Here we go.
Hugh Grant, you are a veteran of the Oscars, and you've been here a few times. What's your favorite thing about coming to the Oscars?
Well, it's fascinating. The whole of humanity is here. It's Vanity Fair.
Oh, it's all about Vanity Fair. Yes, that's where we let loose and have a little bit of fun. What are you most excited to see tonight?
To see?
Yeah, well, I know that you probably watched a few of the movies. Are you excited to see anybody win? Do you have your hopes up for anyone?
No one in particular.
Okay, well, what are you wearing tonight then?
Just my suit.
Your suit? Who
Yeah.
made your suit? You didn't make it.
I can't remember, my tailor.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to the tailor.
Yeah.
So tell me, what does it feel like to be in Glass Onion? It was such an amazing film. I really loved it. I love a thriller. How fun is it to shoot something like that?
Well, I'm barely in it. I'm in it for about 3 seconds.
Yeah, but still, you showed up and you had fun, right?
Almost.
Okay, all right. Okay. Well, thank you so much. It was nice to talk to you.
Yeah.
All right, back.
What is your
He
view
was giving
after? Eh?
he was giving that poor woman nothing. She was trying so hard. He was like, "I don't want to be here. Leave me alone." Poor guy.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, I mean, he's quite a down to earth guy, and I think that the Oscars, it's this fanfare where it's more focused on what you're wearing and the materialistic side of the business. I mean, do you think that he was very rude? I mean, I just see him as being British. I mean, if someone said, "What are you wearing?" I'd be like, "A suit."
I just felt like he didn't care like about the questions he was at. Like she was asking about things that weren't important to him, and just
Mm.
she was doing her job, and he was like, "I'm just wearing my clothes. It's not that big of a deal. It's a fancy thing. But who made it? Like, I don't know. I just bought this off the rack. Like, do you
Mm.
care?
But the thing is, everyone's
His
gone
suit
on the
looks like my
attack.
suit."
Everyone's gone on the attack. Hugh Grant on Twitter and other social media platforms, and I think it's unfair. Yeah, that woman was doing her job. She was asking the questions. But again, being a good presenter and being a good interviewer, you tailor the questions for the guests that you've got. And I think that on the red carpet, they're very generic. And she just picked probably the wrong person to come up and chat. And also to do her research, because in Glass Onions, he is only in it for a few moments. So the fact of he's done so much stuff, other things than that recently, to pick that out that is only in for a few moments, I think it's a bit, But do you know? I love him. I think he's a great actor. And when you get a chance, watch Operation Fortune, because it's a great film. It really is. And then obviously Kiwi Kwan, that we love from the Goonies. And there's a really good connection with him and obviously Brendan Fraser, with, you call it something else in the US. So in the UK, it was the California Man. But you called the film The
Encino Man.
the Encino Man.
Encino.
So when it was
I
released in
believe it's
the UK,
Encino, California.
yeah. So in the UK, it was California Man, and in the US, it was called that, which I think is really bizarre. Why call it something else? Maybe I don't know. We wouldn't have known what that meant. But yeah, they were starring in a film together, and now they're both winning Oscars, which I think is awesome.
Hmm.
But it's so you know what, Kiwi Kwan is just one of those actors, a bit like Brendan Fraser, where he's been out the limelight for quite a while, and then all of a sudden he's come back, and it's really strange that two actors, Brendan and him, have been out the limelight for decades, and all of a sudden they've come back and they've both won Oscars. That's just weird. I don't think that's ever happened before.
No, I don't really follow with all that, but I mean, he was definitely a standout in everything everywhere. Um, from the moment like where he started to undo the chapstick and just starts chewing it, and I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Like, please tell me you found out why they had to do that. Like, it kind of like puts the movie in perspective. But just I love the fact that they're both getting chances. Because he's definitely memorable. Like, he's in my memory of being an Indiana Jones fan. Dr. Jones, and Data from Goonies. And Brendan Fraser. I've watched his movies dozens of times, whether it was Encino Man or Airheads with Adam Sandler.
Mm,
The Mummy movies, the first one two. I don't count the one with the Rock that was awful. Um, oh no, it was the second one that he had the Rock in. But he's always been fun. Even his bad movies are fun movies, and I'm happy to see him actually get that Oscar. Now I
mm,
haven't seen the movie, I can't really judge on it, but it looks like a powerful performance. Like
mm,
just from all the work I've seen from it.
mm, I mean, kudos to him to be out the limelight for so long, and obviously doing the DC show. It's just gone out my head. Um,
Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol. There you go. And then
He's
obviously, you gone?
he's a standout in Doom Patrol. Like
Mm,
him and him as Robot Man. Oh my God! Like Cliff Steele. Like he is such a standout just doing voice work alone.
yeah.
So like he's always had the talent. He just
Oh,
had to
he's
get
got an
him in
awesome
a
voice.
good. He even does. There is stuff where he doesn't have the prosthetics where he's playing Cliff. As a human, and he's awesome in that. Like he's just one of those people you gravitate to.
Mm.
And I don't know what it is, but I mean that's what a star is.
And Kiwi Kwan obviously did such an emotional um, speech, and let's have a listen to it because do you know what? I'm so proud of him. Being a fan of him from the Indiana Jones and the Goonies to actually finally see him being recognised, I just think's
I mean,
awesome.
that's for the movie that you absolutely hate and despise, but what do we know?
No, do you know what? The half that I saw, I enjoyed him in it. It was just, I don't know. I think it was you've got to be in the right frame of mind. I don't think I've given it justice, so I will give it another
I mean, you
view.
didn't even get to the scene where they land on the awards, and
Yeah,
it's
the book plug.
I but
Yeah,
yeah.
because at the beginning, when Jamie Lee Curtis is sat down, I can see the book plug awards in the back next to
Oh,
her.
they pay that off. They pay that off later in the movie, and I tell you what, me and my two teenage boys, there's parts of this movie we were literally crying with laughter. There's a thing where a lady's using a little Pomeranian dog like a pair of nunchucks, and me and my boys, I tell you, we were in tears, just crying in this movie theater from laughter. Like it hurt walking out of that theater.
Yeah, I'm going to give it another go. But here is the acceptance speech by Kiwi Kwan.
Kiwi Kwan.
Hugh Grants made his big screen debut in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and played Data in the Goonies. He holds a film degree from the USC School of Cinematic Arts and has worked as a stunt coordinator and assistant director.
Thank you. Thank you. My mom is 84 years old, and she's at home watching. Mom, I just won an Oscar. My journey started on a boat. I spent a year in a refugee camp, and somehow I ended up here on Hollywood's biggest stage. They say stories like this only happen in the movies. I cannot believe it's happening to me. This is the American dream. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the Academy for this honor of a lifetime. Thank you to my mom for the sacrifices she made to get me here. To my little brother, David, who calls me every day just to remind me to take good care of myself. I love you, brother. Thank you to Kendall for all your support and everything you've done. Thank you to A24, to Daniels, Jonathan, Jamie, Michelle, and my Goonies brother for life, Jeff Cohen. I owe everything to the love of my life, my wife Echo, who month after month, year after year for 20 years told me that one day my time will come. Dreams are something you have to believe in. I almost gave up on mine. To all of you out there, please keep your dreams alive. Thank you so much for welcoming me back. I love you. Thank you.
Oh, do you know what? I can listen to him talk all day, and I just think that speech there, you just felt every word, and he was so humble, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can see the emotion in his face. You can hear it in his voice, and just I think with the movie that he picked, he's just as surprised as everybody else was. Because I mean, I'll be honest, Everything Everywhere is not your typical Oscar movie. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like it's not in that, as I said earlier, in that package of Oscar movies. It's not
Mm.
a true story. It's not a something about a emotional time or anything like that. It's more up our alley in geek culture.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just wonderful. I mean, at the end when he said, "Thank you for having me back," or something like that, and it's really sad to think that Hollywood is one of those industries where you can just disappear without any word, and it seems like a club that you've got to be part of, which I think is really sad. And then we move on to Jamie Lee Curtis, that has been on our screens for decades. And of course, Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh, her parents. Janet, of course, from the Psycho movies, and Tony Curtis, who's a legend. They've both been nominated for Oscars, but never won them. So it was really surprising to Jamie Lee. I mean, obviously, I've seen the first part of the film. Would you say it's Oscar worthy? Because I know that you've mentioned about Angela Bassett.
Yeah, I don't think it was Oscar worthy.
Mm,
Jamie Lee Curtis is in maybe like a quarter of the movie ish. I don't. I've seen her act better in Trading Places
mm,
and some other movies. Especially in a year where she put out that garbage film Halloween Ends. They shouldn't be awarding her nothing, in my opinion. Angela Bassett, in all fairness, carried Black Panther 2 on her shoulders.
mm,
She was probably the strongest thing of that movie, and I liked the movie Black Panther 2. I don't think it was amazing. I mean, they had a lot against them with the death of Chadwick, but Angela Bassett, when she came on screen, every time she was on screen, you felt that, that, like Brendan Fraser, and when you just watch the trailer, you could see that emotion, you could see that power, you could see that commanding of the screen. And Jamie Lee Curtis had hot dog fingers, you know what I mean? And
I got to that part.
was it
I got to that
yeah,
part, but obviously, you had Aston Butler as well, that missed out for Elvis, to Brendan Fraser, and apparently Angela has been comforting him, after the awards and during the awards, which everyone's praised her for, because obviously Angela's been in the industry quite a lot longer than Butler. But yeah, I mean, in Wakanda Forever, she gives an amazing performance, and you've got to think
yes,
what actually, as you said, the committee at the Oscars, is it a tick box exercise, on who is going to win it, and performance wise, and energy on screen, and just showing the true, the trade of acting. I think Angela, hands down, was just mesmerizing in Wakanda Forever. She was. So I'm really disappointed.
100%. It's like my this is my opinion. There's nothing based on it, but I feel like Hollywood at this point has narratives that they try to play, and
Mm,
Jamie Lee the last few years have been really important to those narratives that they've been trying to play. So they might be awarding her for some of the other things that she's been doing. You know
mm,
what I mean? Like, I'm not saying anything bad or illegal or anything like that, but just being that ambassador. You know what I mean? Like, as we said, like if we're gonna be honest about Everything Everywhere, it's a eight movie at best. Like
mm.
8 out of 10 movie at best. It was fun. It's a crazy movie, and I like crazy movies. Don't get me wrong. One of my favorite movies this past year was Terrifier 2. About a killer clown. I love weird films. I've watched the other Daniel's film with the Swiss Army Man with Daniel Radcliffe. That's a bonkers film. You want to watch something bonkers. He's a dead body the whole time. Um,
Wow.
but kind of just like lost my train of thought. This ADHD could kill you. Swear to God. But but it's like Jamie Lee. I mean, it's almost like she got an award for her entire career at this point.
Mm,
Then for and they've done that in the past too. Where they've, like, Leonardo DiCaprio won for The Revenant when he should have won for Django. He should have won for um, Titanic. He should have won for many other movies other than The Revenant.
yeah.
Nobody's going back out and rewatching The Revenant 4, 5, 10 times. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I could
mm.
throw on Django right now and still be entertained.
Yeah, I mean, but again, Jamie Lee Curtis has been on our screens for many decades, and she has been in some amazing stuff. So to see her win, she did it like a boss. To be honest, I mean, I've got an inkling that it was very staged. Like Kiwi Kwan, and how sort of honest he was within the acceptance speech, and you felt the emotions. Tell me what you think after this.
Stop. I have 45 seconds, and I promised Janet Yang I wouldn't do it well because I'm a good girl. I know it looks like I'm standing up here by myself, but I am not. I am hundreds of people. I'm hundreds of people. I am where are the Daniels? Daniels, Jonathan, Leyline, the entire crew, my bae Michelle, Key, Steph, the entire group of artists who made this movie. We just won an Oscar. To my dream team, my agent Rick Kurtzman, Alan Wertheimer, Heidi Schaefer, Sean James, Grace Ahn, Jane Ross. We just won an Oscar. To my family, my beautiful husband, Christopher Guest, our daughters, Annie and Ruby, my sister Kelly, we just won an Oscar. To all of the people who have supported the genre movies that I have made for all these years, the thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, we just won an Oscar together. And my mother and my father were both nominated for Oscars in different categories. I just won an Oscar.
So, what's your impression of that acceptance speech?
That's what she won the Oscar for. That was a better performance.
Yeah.
But
To,
no, to be fair, like I feel like she's one of those Hollywood A-listers that they will grease your palms, you grease ours. They're, like I don't want to get into any of the politics side, but she's been very high up on the political spectrum when it comes to some of the Hollywood stuff. And
I mean,
I feel like Angela got screwed on there.
it comes across that acceptance speech as very self-loathing. You know, it's an opportunity for her to come across as this selfless actress. Again, she might be, but again, you know, that's my impression and that's my personal view. Obviously, everyone's view is going to be different, but that's what I take away from that. I mean, it's quite nice, though, the fact that her parents though have been nominated and now she's got an Oscar. I think that's pretty sweet. But again, you know, Angela Bassett was a lot better. So I'm sure that, I mean, Angela Bassett, again, you look at her back catalogue of films, she's done some extraordinary films. Absolutely extraordinary. Even the Tina Turner film that she was in, she was awesome. Absolutely amazing. Really was. So it is a bit disappointing, but hey, it's the Oscars. It doesn't mean that if you don't win one, you're not very good. So I can't put this on. Jack M. Garner, funnily enough, is my nephew. So Jamie Lee Curtis is such an amazing actor, well deserved. You know what? She is a good actor, but I don't think that she should have won the Oscar. I think it should have gone to
not for that particular role.
No,
and that's a movie that I enjoyed.
Yeah,
I'm gonna preference that. You know,
Yeah.
some.
I
Before
mean,
we run out of
she
time,
was.
Were we planning on talking about Mando?
Eh? Oh no! Yeah, we've run out.
Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, we haven't got Mando on the agenda. What are we
I
playing
just
at?
thought about that.
And yeah, well, to be honest, we'll cover it off next week because like literally we're running out of time now.
Yeah.
But quickly, new shows out this week. Superman and Lois was on last night, and then Gotham Knights. I don't know if you've watched any of those yet, but maybe
No,
we
I
can
don't plan on watching Gotham Knights. That looks terrible.
give it a go. Give it a go. Listen, if I watch the second half of that film, you've got to watch an episode of Gotham Knights and tell me your honest thoughts.
I'll play my son's Xbox game for Gotham Knights.
Oh, I know, but you know, I'm sure it's going to have moments in it. You know, I can't wait for Superman and Lois, the rest of the season. Excuse me, and to see Michael Cutlitz as Lex Luthor, I'm just excited. I've just had some news.
I still want that big red hair Lex. That's what I want. I want the big
Well,
Death of Superman redhead Lex.
You saying that, they only wrapped up the finale of Superman and Lois, filming it like literally 4 or 5 days ago. And Michael Cutlitz was on social media about 2 weeks ago with a full-on beard. So surely that means he had a beard for Lex Luthor. Because how else are you going to do it? It's not a stick-on beard. So straight away,
No.
you know, the chances are your wish might be granted in the way of that type of Lex Luthor. But no, I've just had some news. I've got some more Superman and Lois guests coming on and some more Flash guests on the show on my Sunday release. So please subscribe, share. Obviously, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and obviously YouTube on whatever platform you're watching this on. Please give us a like and a follow and a share. But I think that's all we've got time for, Larry. Thank you once again for sparing the time to be part of this wonderful thing of Be More Super Life. What have you got planned for the rest of the day?
Eat some dinner, play some video games, go to sleep. I have to be at work at 4 o'clock in the morning, so it's 5 o'clock now. So I only have a couple hours to stay up before I have to go
Bless
get
you.
ready for work now.
Bless you. Well, I'll let you know what I think of the second half of the film. If you can see Cocaine Bear, watch it. It's hilarious. It really, really is.
I've wanted to. I had early screening passes, but because of my work schedule and having to be up so early, it was at 7 o'clock, and I didn't want to be going to sleep at like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock. So we ended up skipping out of the free passes.
And do you know what? I got I got invitation for the Shazam premiere, but I couldn't go. I've just had another email for the movie Air with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Oh,
And
about the Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and I can't go to that one. Honestly, it's just so annoying. It really is. Being in Mansfield near Nottingham compared to London, it's a bit of a trek. But thank you for everyone that's been viewing. Thank you for being part of this show. If you've got any feedback, if you want us to talk about any specific things on the show, please let us know. You can follow Larry on Twitter on Be More Larry. Is it just Be More Larry?
Yeah, or 2200. I don't remember. I'm barely on there, if I'm gonna be honest. I need
Well,
to
do you
start
know
being on there
what?
a little bit more.
We're gonna tweet a lot more. Get you out there. But no, that's brilliant, Larry. Look after yourself. Be safe, and as always, stay super, my friend. And good night.
Bye.